Hello.
Well, hello. We are live. I am Alice Keeler, and I am here with the awesome Lauren McCann. Ryan,
Hello, everyone.
happy
Oh,
Thanksgiving
it's
week.
a good reminder to update my full name here.
Oh, yeah. Got to update the name. Got married with alpacas.
Yes, the alpacas were essential to the to the whole
I mean, are you really
situation.
married if you don't have alpacas, honestly? All right.
According
So
to
we are here to talk about Google Jamboard and converting your files into FigJam. So we would love to know who's joining us tonight. There are the live chats. If you want to go ahead and just say hello, where you're from, we'd love to give you a quick shout out, give some people a little chance to join in.
All righty, Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Who doesn't want to learn about Jamboard?
I mean, it's less messy than cooking a turkey.
That is true. That is true. Can anyone confirm if they're seeing us? Oh, I see David in the chat. David from San Luis Obispo. Hi, David. We've got a couple other ones.
I gave you the exact advice that I didn't do myself.
Oh, here we go. We got some other people.
Well, hello. We got Tina. Welcome, Tina. Thanks for joining. And Callie's joining from LinkedIn. Thank you. In Plano, Texas. Wonderful. I hope you're all excited to learn more about FigJam. We have Laura. She said she tried to use FigJam, was unable to figure it out. Laura, you are in luck because it is insanely easy. Converting your Jamboards to FigJam is insanely easy. That's what we're here to show you tonight, so that you will feel very confident about this. Other Alice, hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Carla, I used to be from California. We have another California girl. Laura again. Welcome.
Oh, more Cali people.
We do. Hey, Kevin. Oh, thanks, everybody. We'll keep giving your hellos. And we got our friend MK here. Always great to see you. Oh, Carla, thanks for confirming that she can hear and see us. Had a little bit of a snafu last time. All right, so of course we are talking about Google we're talking about Google Jamboard to FigJam. So I've converted to using a FigJam for our presentation. So you can see that I'm here in my FigJam. And we are here for the purpose of saying goodbye to Jamboard, right? I know that's why many of you are here. I'm going to type that down in the chat. Goodbye, Jamboard. Hello, FigJam. So you might have heard the announcement. Google is going to sunset Jamboard. I know that you might think you have a little bit of time, but honestly, what is the point? They are going to turn your Jamboards into PDFs, which is not really that great. Honestly, it is better than the original announcement that they were going to delete them. So your Google Drive is going to be full of PDFs, and that is, right, going to be disappointing, right? But is it disappointing, Facebook user? Is it? Lauren, what did you like about Jamboard?
Yeah, that's a good question. And also for those of you, I mean, I know most of the folks on here, obviously, you know Alice, but for those of you I haven't met, I'm Lauren. I lead the education team here at Figma and look over FigJam. And before this, I actually was at Google for Education and used to look over Jamboard. So kind of a bit of an ironic position to be in. But yeah, Jamboard, I mean, there were some things missing, but there was a lot to love. I mean, I think first and foremost, like the simplicity was what was really great about it. So I think that was easy, and it was always great to just like get all of our students in one space. So those are kind of some of the things I really liked about it. What about you, Alice?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, it's simple, and then it just brings us together. It made it really easy to hear from all students, because I'm really about that. When students raise their hand, we can hear from one, maybe two students, and we want to give everybody time to think and to participate. And we really make each other better when we can see what everybody is thinking about an idea. So I'm going to really miss that about Jamboards. I would just do a jam.new and I'd fire them up all the time while I was teaching. They were fairly easy. I could lock images onto the background and have the students comment about them. However, it of course has its limitations. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But first,
the other thing I'd say about it too that I liked, Alice, though, is like so many of our other things like Google Docs and even slides, like it's kind of like limited to this specific space. And I think I liked
Yeah,
Jamboard felt like a more open canvas for students to like express
exactly.
themselves and share their ideas in a bit more of like a free form way. But I'm actually excited because I think FigJam can help with that even more.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then just even if you wanted to drag and move some things around, shuffle ideas, shuffle student
Hmm.
thoughts in Google Slides, it's actually pretty tricky to, if,
Hmm.
especially for our little ones. But I even noticed adults really struggling with grabbing something on a Google Slides and dragging it and moving around. So Jamboard really made that part easy. I
Hmm.
didn't like that. First, I was only limited to 20 pages, but
Hmm.
that I couldn't really lock things down unless it was locked on the background, right? So there's some elements that I couldn't keep the kids from accidentally moving, and that was a little frustrating.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Okay, but we're talking about FigJam, and I'm really excited because FigJam, my friends, is better. It is better. It's like it is what Jamboard should have been in the first place. And I know that you're going to really love it. And especially when you see that we have this conversion tool, you're going to be like, this is awesome. So we've created a collaborative FigJam for you. And Lauren's going to show you a couple of highlights of the collaborative FigJam. Now, here's the thing is when you share a collaborative space with your students the first time, just remember nobody is born knowing how to collaborate digitally. So does it make sense for us to have a jam open and ready to convert as you demo? Absolutely, Denise. In fact, later I'm going to
Get
invite
those
you to
files ready,
convert
Denise.
your jam files into FigJam because we know you're going to feel the love. You're going to definitely feel the love. Thanks for asking that. So be it Jamboard or FigJam, a collaborative space is not something you're born knowing how to do. And so we're going to ask you to stay to the left on this collaborative jam and be considerate that we do have some resources and things that we're sharing. Please don't put stickers and stamps on top of those, but we do encourage you to go ahead and experiment. So Lauren, I'm going to switch it over to you for you to kind of give a little spin of FigJam.
Awesome. Should we share the file so people can get in here?
Not yet. Do
Not yet.
you want to zoom
Not
in?
yet.
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. All right. Well, Alice has made this little kind of like playground file for all of us to get a little bit more familiar with FigJam. I'm kind of curious in the chat how many of you have tried out FigJam yet, or is everyone totally new? Let's see in the chat. That might help me decide what to show you. But basically, the first thing you'll notice here versus Jamboard is that you have more of a infinite big canvas model rather than the page model that you're used to having in Jamboard. So you can kind of see here, Alice has set this up. So she has this area here. It's called a section. It's kind of like a box where she's called it Get Wild. So this is where we can kind of get our wiggles out and do some fun things. She has some awesome stuff down here with FigJam tips. This is an area where you can ask your questions. And then to the right, like Alice mentioned, here's some files for you about some steps about how to get started, some playlists, some templates. And then even down here, we're going to have a place for folks to go ahead and paste in your converted Jamboards so we can learn about that. But yeah, let me show you a few quick things here up in the Get Wild section. Maybe you could use this in here to draw a little picture. Maybe you're going to draw us a little smiley face. You could use this here to use some of the other drawing tools. Maybe you want to go ahead and erase that. If you wanted to, you could use this space also to share a sticky. Maybe you could let us know your name. I'm Lauren. I'm calling from Rhode Island. You could test that out there. If you want to throw in some other fun things, we have stickers if you haven't checked those out. So maybe I want to throw this little dog riding a surfboard on here. Really, this is just a fun area for you to express yourself. A couple other things that we have in the file that maybe you haven't seen before. We've got a timer. We've got the ability to play music. So we don't want to probably do too much, but those are some things you might want to use with your class to have some fun together. But yeah, Alice, is that a good cover of this file?
Yeah,
And how
good one. So you'll notice there in the center where it says questions, if you want to zoom in on that. And this one thing I do love about FigJam is you can go in and out, show it in any size that you want. Perfect. So that green section in the middle there is for you to put your sticky notes to ask a question. And go ahead and stick them on top of everybody else's notes. I know we don't have a large section on there, but we're going to pull them out and organize them. So if you have any questions, please put them in there. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over. Now you'll notice that I have a section. Oh, sorry.
Alice, just one last thing about that is you'll notice
please.
your name automatically comes on it. So we will know the question is from you, because I know none of you have students that forget to put their names, but all of my students always used to forget to put their names.
I
So
know. I
we will
love that
know
feature.
who asked what
You
question, and
also
that'll
show that if you push E and you stick a little sticker on there, that'll also show your name, because there's another thing I like, just having students really quickly thumbs up and agree with something. And so when they stick that on there, push E for the emote, sticker options. There you go.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
And then when you hover over those stickers, you're kind of zoomed out a little bit, Lauren. You'd be able to see that Lauren actually posted those. So that's a really fun way for us to participate. So as you see other people contributing over in the Get Wild or on their question, if you want to upvote it, please feel free to press E and stick a little thumbs up sticker on there. I'm going to share the link. I am asking for you to make sure that you get wild to the left and let the resources to the right. Please leave them alone. All right.
We'll leave the resources here, and the red area is red for fun, okay?
That's correct. All right, so I have a section here that I have hidden, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to wait to reveal this out to you. We do have a QR code. If you go to alicekeeler.com/Jamboard23, you'll be able to join the collaborative FigJam, and we would invite you to do that. And I actually did copy link to the section, so it should take you right to the questions section. So if you want to drop in your sticky note, you put this down in the chat. That's the full link, or you can just go to, there we go. I see David's in there.
David in there. Oh, I see a few more people coming in.
Great. So we'll just wait a second to let you kind of join on in. Add a sticky note with your question, and then go to the left. Please go to the left and yeah, go wild, draw a picture, answer my poll, add a sticky note. If all of the cursors are getting a little crazy for you, you can come up to the FigJam icon, go to view, and you can turn off multiplayer cursors.
Oh, so I forgot to share that. That's a good tip, Alice.
Not a problem. I got it right here. Just because we are the first time in here with so many people, normally you wouldn't have this many people in one file, right? So if you find that distracting to see everybody's cursor flying around, that can be disabled from your view. It doesn't disable it for everybody. It'd be just for you. So just go on to it's the file menu, but it looks like the Figma logo up in the upper left, and you go to view and choose multiplayer cursors, and you can just go ahead and show and hide toggle those on and off, and that might help you to have a more pleasant experience. I love seeing all the cursors floating around because I just feel like I have active student engagement, which I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, it is great to see them flying around, but depends how your brain works.
Absolutely. We are definitely not all of the same. And as many people have pointed out, Alice, most people are not you.
That's for sure.
So we are saying goodbye to Jamboard, even though you could keep using it for the next year. Why? I mean, let's just move on. Google is not supporting it anymore. And that's been obvious that they haven't really been supporting it for really several years now. But really, I would probably guess that I have more jams than you. Lauren, do you think, since you were on the Jamboard team, that you have more jams than me? Because I have a whole book.
I think you may be the reigning queen there. I think you might have been the biggest power user in the whole product.
It is possible. And yet, this is me with a really big smile on my face. I am not in the least bit upset because it is so easy to turn these into FigJam. And FigJam is what Jamboard should have been. It is Jamboard, but better. It's Jamboard Plus. It's Jamboard Amazing. Whatever you were able to do in Jamboard, you can do in FigJam. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lauren.
Even the names are similar, which is a funny coincidence.
Yes. So I will apologize in advance for all the times that I swap them. I mean, I did write a book about it. I've said the word Jamboard and jams so many times. And now I'm just moving on. I have moved on. And now I'm going to convert my Jamboard files into FigJam. And it's just really, 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 really easy. And it's everything that you ever wanted. So, Lauren, when people convert their Jamboards over to FigJam, it's just a PDF that they're just going to have to print out on paper or something, right?
Well, that is the question of the hour, and what everyone probably is here to hear, right? Is like, what the heck is going to happen to all these Jamboards? I've been making them for years. I've been perfecting them for years. Am I going to be able to use them? Am I going to be able to edit them? Are they just going to go to the garbage? And so we're super excited to share that. Yesterday, we actually just launched the importer. It's so easy to use, and literally with just a few clicks, you will be able to take your Jamboard and turn it into a fully editable FigJam. So all of the elements will over, any ink that you use, you can still edit. You can change the color, you can erase, you can expand. Any text, you can continue to edit. Any sticky notes, you can continue to edit. So all of the elements, you can take the best of your Jamboards that you loved, move it over, and keep on building with it with your students. Even things like backgrounds that you made, those will be locked. And basically how it will work is that the Jamboard, it had the pages up to 20 frames. Each of those frames will carry over as a section. So I think it's probably honestly easiest to just show rather than describe it. So I think maybe Alice, we could show people how to work.
I'm moving right on over there. So here is where we are going to start. Now I'm going to demonstrate this real quick if you want to watch, but then I would really encourage you to just give it a go. And we're going to go to Figma.com. So the company is Figma. FigJam is the product. Like Google is the company, Jamboard is the product, Figma is the company, and FigJam is the product. So watch how simple this is. I'm going to click on Figma.com. Now I have already set up my free educator account. In fact, it was insanely easy to set up my free educator account. I go to figma.com/education and I verify that I'm an educator, and ta-da, I have a full account. It's not freemium, it's just free. It's just free, right?
That's no hidden, nothing hidden. Totally free, no limits. You're not going to use it and convert a bunch of files and then be like, oh, gosh, darn it, now they're charging me. So totally free. We can leave some links after for how to get started.
Yeah. So up in the upper right, you'll see that you can create a FigJam board. And right next to that, you should be seeing this button that says import. And when you click on import, it says from Jamboard. It's just asking you to do it. Please convert, and you will have to connect your Google Drive to FigJam when you do it, and it only takes a second. I think we're all used to authorizing our accounts. This is safe, FERPA compliant, and all that, correct, Lauren?
Yep. When you set it up with us through your school, it works just perfectly.
All right. And so now it just says, hey, here's all your jams. It's filtered for jams. It's not showing me anything else but jams. And I prepared in advance by putting a jellyfish on the files that I wanted to open. So I'll start with this one here.
It's a good trick.
I mean, that's it. I just selected it. I literally clicked import and I'm twiddling my thumbs. I'm just waiting. It's actually really fast. I had some really intense jams and they just.
Hey, there it goes. It says it's ready.
Yep. Let's do it. So here it is. I'm going to double click on it. And, I'm on this StreamYard, so my internet slows down a little bit, but there you go. So it put in each frame as a section. So the thing that you would notice is that when you move a section in FigJam, everything in the section moves. So I like to say pages. I don't know if that is kosher, Lauren, but that's really
whatever works.
I love sections. I noticed that when David does his FigJams, he doesn't always have sections, although he has sections. He has areas.
Yeah. It's a personal preference.
Personal preference. But I'm going to zoom in on here as you see that I have this open middle problem. It says use the digits 1 through 9, and I have these digits here at the bottom, and they move. I mean, look at that.
Okay, well, those move. What about the stickies though?
Right. So the sticky, not only does the sticky move, but it's fully editable.
Can you add authorship like a Jamboard sticky, like a FigJam sticky?
So, I mean, that's really the best part here, right? It is your Jamboard jam files, but better. And so not only are my stickies, the color is there, the text is there, everything's the same, but now those are actually stickies in FigJam, which means I can toggle on and off the authorship. And of course, I can now add stamps and different things that I want to add to it. Oops, that was on the
No, that's so
Plus
true because
one.
I think, one thing I've heard, Alice, from people is that they're nervous about the transition because they really liked how simple Jamboard was, and they get
Mhm.
worried about all the extra features that you have here in FigJam. And what I would say to that is, you don't even have to use those. You literally could convert your file
Yeah.
and then just continue using the pen tool, continue using stickies, and that's it. You don't have to use the stickers, you don't have to use the stamps, you don't have to use the widgets, the shapes, all that extra stuff. You don't even have to do it. So I think it's pretty helpful to see here, how you could just keep it simple.
Yeah, I'll just point out one upgrade that I know you're going to love that you couldn't do in Jamboard is, whoops. Well, first of all, I'm moving that around. I don't want to. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to lock it so it can stop dragging it around on accident. And I can now lasso multiple items at once, and I can move, except I just locked it. So that would be not really that great of a demonstration. If you do lock your section, it does lock everything on the section at that time. You can add other things on top of that lock section after you lock it. So those are still movable, which I really love. Yep, I did lock it, and there you go. Control Shift
So
L.
what you're saying, Alice, is
I have
maybe
memorized that.
lock like the background, but not necessarily the elements on it.
Correct.
If you were making it. Makes sense.
Right.
Yep.
So, but you notice that I can select and highlight multiple things so that I can move multiple things around. I don't know about you, but I think I want to do that with every single jam that I made, was move more than one thing, or delete more than one thing at a time, or duplicate more than one thing at a time. Also, I can just drag stuff. Here I've got a photo on my desktop. I can just drag it on there.
There you go. Easy. Yeah. It's so easy to build on top of the existing stuff. So you really could just import, keep it the same, or you could import and keep building on top of it. You have any other examples you want to show, Alice? Because otherwise I can show a few things too.
You bet. I have several, and then I'm going to switch over and have you show with your favorites. So I just want to, again, show you how easy it is. I'm going to make it, and then I'm going to close it. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to show you how simple this is. So it's going to be in the upper right. I'm going to click Import. I'm going to say from Jamboard. I'm going to have to connect my account. Say, yep. This is a great company, and they're very trustworthy. Please convert
One note I'll say on that is right now, we're kind of asking you to verify each time you log in because we don't want to have unfettered access to your drive. But we're updating this so that it will be like only once a day or once a week or something. So you don't have to keep verifying your account. We're trying to err on the side of less access to drive, but we're hearing from teachers they don't want to log in each time, which is fair.
Yeah. Well, and look how quickly I was able to get this done. It honestly didn't really bother me. I was able to really quickly yep, good. Let's do it. Because it really is so few steps. So I love to do activities with all my students. So you can see I have a frame per student. They all imported in. They each have their own section. They can get started on it. It's good to go. What was locked is locked. What drags, and I'm done. So it was really
before you X that out, do you want to show? Oh, wait. Oh, you X'd it out. It's okay. I was going to say maybe we could show them how you can even change the name of each frame. So
sure.
If you made
Let's do that another one because I just wanted to get in and out real quick.
Perfect.
And I think that here we go. All right. I'm going to import from Jamboard. Connect. Now this time I'm going to import 3 of them at a time. What's the max I can do at a time?
I want to say, I think it's 35. So you can import a bunch at once. Yeah, I see Brinsley asked that question on YouTube. So watch how Alice does this.
So I'm going to hold down the Shift key. So I clicked on 1 and hold down the Shift key. So now I've selected 3. I'm going to hit select, and you're going to see it is now importing 3 of them at the same time. So even though I literally have hundreds and hundreds of jams, I'm going to be able to do this really quickly, just convert them all in. And honestly, they're almost perfect. I've had very few of the jams that I've been importing in here where it wasn't perfect. Like it worked amazing, just the way that it imported. Okay, so when it imports in here, when I open this up, each frame or each page is called frame 1, frame 2, right? So you can just easily change that where it says frame 1, just double click on it and rename it. Intro. This says delete this frame, so I will. So it's all in a section. So you can see I can delete the whole thing at once easily. Also, do you remember trying to move pages around in Jamboard? Not so easy, right? So I'm able to actually lasso multiple frames, multiple pages at once, and I can move them all at once. I missed a couple of items on there, but.
Yeah, I think if you zoomed in, might be a little bit easier.
I have a lot of stuff on this particular one. But anyway, I can drag and move them around very easily. If you want to lock several of them at once, I'm just Control-Shift-L. Now they're all locked. So you actually have a lot more control just because you can treat this lassoing idea you just couldn't do in Jamboard. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
all
perfect.
Right. Lauren, you want to?
Yeah, let me show you a few things.
Some of your favorite converts.
All right, let me show you some. So I already have it open. For example, let's say I'm going to do this one, a jam about traffic jams. So I'm going to select this one. All right.
Okay, now while you're selecting it, there was a question: is your jam? Is it eating your Jamboard? Like, is it eating it?
No, it is not eating it. So you will still be able to keep your Jamboard. That will stay in your drive. I think it's on October 1st of next year. They become view only. So, but they're not related. It basically just makes an extra copy of it in FigJam. So, okay, so that's done. Let's open this one up. Just show you a couple other things. Another thing, Alice, to show you, because you were mentioning about switching frames around. If you just select all of the frames and then you see this pink dot, you can easily swap them around.
I did not know that trick. That's a good one.
That's a little pro tip for you if you select them all to easily.
I'll be making a video about that.
Remove them around. It's pretty easy. But let's just look at frame 1. You know, a couple other things I could do here. Maybe I didn't like that white background. I'm going to, make it a nice blue here. Things like images, you can still continue to resize and use these. All the text I can continue to type. All of the ink that I had on here, like I drew this little arrow, I can change that. Maybe I want that to be purple. Some other things too, maybe you all used shapes inside of Jamboard. You can continue to edit your shapes. So I can continue to make these shapes bigger. And then unlike in Jamboard, you can actually add color to the shape. So maybe I want this to be, a green shape, and I want this to be maybe a blue shape. You can go ahead and add that. And then the other thing is, in Jamboard, you had the text, you kind of had to put it on top. With FigJam, you can natively just add text in here. So you could put it in here and it's super easy. The other cool thing about these shapes is, again, you can see here, we kind of tried to draw these like little connectors here to show relationship, but you actually, I'm going to delete that because it's sitting on top of it kind of weirdly. You can just have it as a native shape. You can change the shape if you want. So right now we could turn this into a circle if we wanted. And I'll just show you too, you can easily add connectors between shapes. So here we'd add this connector. We can take the connector, we can make it darker, we can make it thicker. And so that way the shapes are kind of like connected to each other. We can even add text here to say, this is related, and show how these two shapes might be related to each other. So again, take all the shapes you already had in Jamboard and continue to do even more with them. So that's that one. I'm going to also show you.
Hold on real quick. We had a bit of a question. So how do we lock the backgrounds but not the movable pieces? I first would like to say that when you convert in from Jamboard, if the backgrounds were locked in Jamboard, they are locked in your converted FigJam. So that's automatic. So that's half the answer to your question. It's automatic. If you are making a new FigJam, I have a video, I have a playlist. I pasted the link to the playlist into the chat where I've been doing a get started, and I made a whole video on how to lock the backgrounds. But I'm just going to tell you the secret is just Control-Shift-L. So you can click on literally anything, and Control-Shift-L is going to lock it. You can also right click. But it's such a good keyboard to learn.
For example, let's say we're looking at this frame and we're like, okay, I love this sneaker I drew. I don't want anyone messing it up. So you can Control-Shift-L. You could also even come up here, go to Object, and you can lock it. So that way this piece is locked, but the sticky notes your students can continue to write on. Or maybe you want to lock, this title. Oops, sorry. You want to lock the title, but you don't want to lock the sticky notes. Again, object lock. So the shoe and the title are locked, but the sticky notes, your students can continue to write in. So you can have them adding stuff here. So that's that. I wanted to show you, because I know some of you might have ink on some of your Jamboards and you're wondering how that converts over. I will admit, for the most part, this is pretty new. So most of the jams we've been testing with a bunch of teachers have come over really well, but some of them, we're still trying to figure out exactly how you map them one-to-one. So some of them might come in a little bit funky. I wanted to show you, because I saw in the chat someone mentioned one of theirs came in funky. I just want to show you this here. Let's open these two. We got annotation station and brain dump. So I just selected two. It's converting them. Alrighty, you can see that going. And just take a second. All right, looks like they are done. Awesome, done. So let me just show you annotation station, because a lot of you might have been a big fan of the ink. So you can see here, again, this would have been a 3-frame Jamboard. Here, again, you can continue to move around and edit this image. Same thing with text. Maybe I want to make this into, purple text, right? But what's really cool is with the ink, again, like Alice mentioned, you can multi-select things. So let's say I wanted to take this whole word I had here, architecture. I can change the color of that. I can take this ink that I drew and move it around. I can resize it. I could go in here with our eraser even and just start deleting a bunch of ink if I didn't want it. So you can see you can delete entire things at once rather than having to use your eraser to erase pixel by pixel. So this just makes it super, super easy. But yeah, all of the ink should transfer pretty well. And if you have any files where it's not working well, our team would love to see those so we can just better understand how to fine tune the importer so it's really working at its best. But yeah, those are most of the files. I mean, does anyone have any questions of something specific that they have concerns about?
Well, we have a few things over in the collaborative document. I'm excited to answer them over there and to show that thank you. You had your fun to the left. I appreciate you doing that. Just to answer a question, what you'll notice here is in this section, I have added a slide, made it in Canva, and I can move it around. But then when I move the section, everything in the section would move. Is the section locked? No. Okay, right? So I'm going to be able to move the section. I can do that. So if you want to lock the entire thing, you want to have the section selected. Wow, that's a lot of alliteration, right? So you have the little squares on the corner. And then if I lock that, then anything that is currently on the section or the page is locked. Or I can just click on the picture and I lock just that picture. So if I Control-Shift-L right now, the picture itself is locked, but the whole section is not. So the way that I build with the draggables is I'm going to put the picture on the background. I'm going to put the elements on there that I don't want dragged on there. I'm going to lock that whole section, and then I add the draggables after I lock the section.
Yeah, that's great advice.
All right. So hopefully that gave you enough time to join us if you are not already in our collaborative document. And we have this area here for the stickies. Now, one thing I'd like to point out is if you press C, you can actually add comments, which is one of the ways that FigJam is better than Jamboard. And I love this because I'm put C and I'm like, I will answer your question. So I just pushed C and clicked where I wanted to put my question. And you can see that the comments, rather my comments are going to show up on the right-hand side, but it shows a little comment spot right where I left it. So it's a really easy way to give feedback right within the document. Okay,
all right.
So here. So if you want to, you're in there, Lauren. Yep, you're in there. You want to take a first stab?
Let's see. So I have this question here from Carla who asks, so the squares are the same as pages in Jamboard. That's a good one. You have any thoughts, Alice?
Basically, right? The sections are the same as having frames or pages. Yes. So that is really the main difference, right? Is you have this infinite canvas, so you have to create the pages, and then what I do is I hide. So I'm going to come on over to this section that I have. I'm going to unlock it because when I unlock it, I have this eyeball and I can just hide it. So what I'll do is I'll go through and I hide them so I can slow reveal and then undo it. So then I'm like, okay, students, this is where we're at. And here's a cool thing, because up at the top, I can click on my picture and choose Spotlight Me, and it's going to bring you to where I am. It's going to give you that option so we can all be on the same section together. So it's a great way to draw your students, to engage them on what you are. They can, of course, wander away if they want to. But then just like Google Docs and Jamboard, if you click on anybody's name or icon up at the top, you will jump to where they are. So I'm going to find that Laura is over here on the left, and Denise is up here at the top, right? So it makes it really easy to join in where that person is engaging on the FigJam. Okay, so
Amazing.
I'm going to drag this one down here.
Yeah, and I'm going to give it a thumbs up. It means we answered it. All right, I'm giving it a thumbs up because we answered it. All right, I think Emily has a question. How do we verify students out of school? I'm not totally clear on what this question means, Emily. I don't know if you want to share in the chat, but I'm happy to answer how you get your students set up. You as a teacher can create your own individual account at figma.com/education. But if you want to get it set up automatically for your students so they can use SSO with their Google accounts and they don't even need to make their own accounts, email us at education@figma.com and we can work with your school to get that set up so that your students can automatically be provisioned accounts. So I highly recommend that if that was the question, though maybe I'm misunderstanding the question.
Okay, do you want to put, you just shared how they would contact you to get it set up. Do you want to put that into the chat?
Yes. I can't do it because I can't put in links, but if you have them do education@figma.com, and I also put it here in the file.
At figma.com.
Oh, okay. Emily says, I tutor students after school. Emily, I think maybe I did see your email. Basically, your students can go to figma.com and they can sign up for an education account. And click Get Verified.
Is it figma.com/education or just figma.com?
Yeah, figma.com/education. And so I put that in the sticky note there for you, Emily. But yeah, you just email us as well. I think I remember your email. All right, let's see. I have a question here from Laura who says, how do I view a single frame once I've imported my Jamboard if I had multiple duplicated frames? I want to look at one at a time. And yes, that is free. That's free for students, Denise, for the whole school and district, 100% free.
All right. So can I answer that?
Yes, I was hoping you would.
Okay, great. So that's where I hide them. So when I have multiple frames, I don't want everyone looking at them at once. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a frame. It's not a frame. It's actually a section. So you have the section tool down here, and you can make it any size that you want. And then you'll notice that when the section is selected, so again, those resizing handles are visible on the corner, this little toolbar pops up and I can hide it. And it's pretty easy to toggle it on and off. So I'm going to hide them first. And when it's hidden, I can now lock it. And so now it's locked and it's hidden. So I just come back over. I select the section. I Control-Shift-L because I have memorized this lock, unlock keyboard shortcut. And then I can unhide it. So I just do that slow reveal like that. It's not really different because students had the ability to look through all the frames when they're in Jamboard as well. So this actually has a little bit more, like you can see that they've unhidden it from you if you didn't want them to. This actually gives you a little more control. So I think that's really nice.
Yeah, Alice, actually, if you bop over to my screen, maybe I can show an example. So how this might work. So if we go back to remember my jam about traffic jams, and we had, let's say we had these 10 frames, I can just go ahead and select them all and I can hide all of them. And then maybe just this first one, right? I want to unhide. So that's kind of a way you can do that in bulk and reveal them as
Can you
go.
do that again where you're zoomed in a little bit more? It's very tiny.
Sure. For sure. So let's say I've just converted this, right? And I have these 10 frames. I'm going to go ahead and select all of them so that it's all selected. And then if you see here, this little eyeball, it's going to hide it. And so then all of them are hidden. And then if I wanted to go back up to the first one, maybe just that's where I want my students to focus first, just unhide that one. And then I can unhide them one at a time. So that's kind of a strategy that you could use.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend you can use the right click and you can use the file menu, which is the Figma icon to lock, but Control-Shift-L is going to be your new best friend. You are going to love that. You're going to love all the lassoing that you can hide and lock them at multiple ones at once. It's going to be really great.
100%. But yeah, that is a great question. Thank you to, who asked that one? That is from Laura. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a way to change the default sizing centering? I noticed that when importing the Jamboard, the size of the sticky note was much larger than the default sticky in Figma.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think, let's see who added that. Well, maybe they don't want their name revealed. But that's okay. That's okay. This is a great question. I think this is something that as we're getting access to more files, we're starting to see this. So that's something that we know we need to work on. And we're working on getting those closer to the default sticky size. But that's really good feedback. Thank you.
All right. All right. So I'm new to Figma. Is there a way to collaborate without being able to change each other's work for certain times with students?
So this, yeah, Alice, what do you think about this one?
Well, in the same way of any of the Google products, the answer is no. You are not able to allow you can give some students view access and some students edit access, just like you can with a Google Doc, just like you could with Jamboard, is in the way that you share it. So if you paste the email addresses of your students who have edit access and then separately paste the email addresses of your students who have view access, then yes, you can do that. However, when you click on the share icon, there are a couple of ways that you can share your FigJam. By default, it's view. So when you share the link, they can view. They're in the file with view. And then you can choose a drop down to switch it to edit to give them edit access. The other thing you could do is just take their email addresses. I highly recommend that you have a spreadsheet of your student roster that also has their email addresses, because there's like 5 million places that you need your student roster or student email. So just having that handy at any given time, highly recommend. And so then just highlighting the student names, rather the student emails, and pasting it into the FigJam to give them explicit edit access. So then you can, using that method, choose who gets edit, who gets view access. And then there's also an option to give just 24 hours quick access to anybody. So that's what I did for this one. If you'll notice, the icon in the upper right has like the share icon has like a clipboard on it. And that is letting you know that I have for 24 hours allowed edit access to anyone with the link. Although honestly, the second that this live stream is over, I'm going to go and disable that link. So the whole thing is only going to be view only. So for those of you who are watching the replay, you'll be able to view this collaborative document, but you will not be able to edit it. So I do have that control. And good news, friends, there is version history. There is version history.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Draw something inappropriate, I would highly recommend that before you share it with the students, is that you're going to go up to the Figma icon. You're going to go to File, and you choose Save to Version History. Just like Jamboard, just like Google Docs, it does automatically save versions, but you're not going to be able to determine that exact cut point as easily as if you manually do this, right? File, Save to Version History, and then you can name it so that when things go awry, you can jump back to the pristine template that you had. So I highly recommend, before you share something, name it as File, Save to Version History, name it Template or something like that. And then that's also just going to make it a lot easier for you to use it next year without having to re-import from Jamboard. And let me really emphasize, you won't be able to. So your jams are not going to be made view only. They're going to be made into PDFs, meaning the conversion tool from Jamboard to FigJam, you got to do it before Jamboard actually goes away, friends. Just so you know, there is a little bit of need to do it. So I hope that you saw how insanely easy it is and that you'll just get them all done over this Thanksgiving break. It'll be fun times.
No, that's a great point, Alice, because yeah, once it's in a PDF, like we don't know what part of that was editable. We don't know what was what. It just becomes like one image. So yeah, doing it ahead of October 1st next year is really important. But yeah, I mean, my comment on this is that, there's certain things where you can know who did what, with stamps, with sticky notes through version history. But yeah, I mean, just like any other collaborative platform, it's really important to teach digital citizenship, respecting one another. And I think there's certain ways that you can kind of like limit student stuff, but it's also really important to just have those conversations. And our team's been hearing that feedback about wanting to have a bit more attribution. So that's something that we're thinking a lot about as well.
So don't forget that this also has some fun things in here. Why is this? Start over. I should be able to say, I think I'm using the wrong one. Hey, Lauren, can you demonstrate how we can just randomly choose somebody who's in our document together right now?
Oh, sure, we can.
It's one of my favorite upgrades. Yeah.
Use this widget. All right, let's choose next.
Okay, where are you? There's this widget. Actually, I can
do you want to follow me? You can find me.
Click on your name. I'm finding you. Now I'm where you're at. Okay, there you go. Okay, but I think, go ahead. I'm the only one in there.
Oh, here, let me reset it.
Yes. You know what? I locked it. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've unlocked it. And now I can refresh the list of people. There we go. So the next person, there we go. All right.
Cool. Let's see. Just move some of these stickies out of the way to make room. All right, next random. Oh, Erica, it's your turn.
Yeah, there's so many fun things that are here in FigJam that you can do.
Speaking of fun things, actually, I see Rachel asked a good question down here in the question area. Rachel said, how do you insert audio? Great for elementary instruction. Also, does Moat work with FigJam? So let me take your question, Rachel. I'm going to move it down here so we can mark that it's been answered. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little thumbs up. And what I'm going to show you all how to use is our voice memo widget. So this is how you can really easily insert audio snippets. You could use it.
Do you want to switch to your screen?
Yeah.
Share?
Do you mind, Alice? Yep. So you can kind of see what I'm opening.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're seeing my screen. If you go down here to the taskbar, you click on this little more button. It's kind of like our Mary Poppins bag of fun. And you look up voice memo. You can go to widgets here. And widgets are kind of basically just like little apps that live on top of the canvas. So you're going to go ahead, you're going to drag it on here. And it's going to give you this option to record. It's going to give you up to 30 seconds. Hi, my name is Lauren. My favorite animals are baby pigs. And my favorite color is blue. And I'm going to press stop recording. And now I can add this here where Alice could play this back or anyone else in the file could play it back. I can add a little title about me. I could even hide the title, or I could shrink this so it's really small. So this is really great for things like student name pronunciation or giving audio instructions or giving audio feedback for differentiated learners. So many ways that you could use that. And then Rachel has a question here about Moat. That's a good question. I actually haven't tested Moat with FigJam. So that's a good one. I'd be curious if anyone here who has a Moat account wants to try it out and let me know how it works.
What's really cool about FigJam is I can take a link to almost anything and just straight up paste it on there. And it basically kind of embeds it on. It's really nice to do with a Google Slides. If I paste the link to Google Slides, I can actually present within the FigJam without leaving it. So this is really the perfect place for you to take I don't know about you, but I oftentimes will have 2, maybe 3 digital elements that I'm pulling together for my lesson. So I like to do some sort of a warm up. And then I want to have students do a what do you notice, what do you wonder, number talk type thing. And I might have my slides or a Desmos. Well, I can actually click the links to each of those. I can just paste them straight onto the FigJam and design a complete lesson where everything's all in the same place, but it's organized in a way that really makes sense as opposed to just like, here's a list of links dumped at the bottom of my Google Classroom assignment.
Yeah, like you can even see this here, right? Alice has embedded this YouTube video. You can press play. You can even make it full screen. So that way, again, it's kind of like your students are watching it in YouTube. I'm not going to press play, though you should definitely watch this awesome video later. You can do this with Google Docs, with Google Slides, like Alice mentioned. You could do this with flips. You could even do it with TikToks if you wanted to show them to your for some reason. I've seen people do it with NPR podcasts. So it really just creates this like one simple learning surface where all of your elements are, and your students can walk through that rather than doing like the 12 tab tango, or like, you get to sixth period and your kids have like 42 tabs open from all of the documents their teachers have sent them to. So it can create like one unified learning space for them.
Yeah, totally. So I'd like to just take a quick pause, and if anybody has converted their Jamboard into a FigJam during this presentation and just wants to paste the link, and literally just copy the link to your FigJam and paste it down here in this box, and it's just going to make this little embed thing right there, which I think is really cool. So if you did try it out and you want to share how great it converted, please drop the link in there. If you had any issues with it, please let us know. I would say I have at least a 95% success rate that they just are perfect. And then there's a couple of them I'm like, well, it's good. It's like 90% good. It's not 100% perfect, but that's still an A in my mind. It's good.
Yeah, I just put in my Jam about traffic jams one, Alice, and it populated here. Has anyone else tried converting any? I remember Denise at the beginning. Maybe you had some links handy.
We did have a question about embedding Canva presentations. Do you know if those embed into FigJam? I can just try it real quick.
Yeah, you could just try it. I'm not totally sure about that.
A lot of Canva. Me and Canva are like besties. It's hard to decide what I use more of, Google Docs, Canva, or FigJam, because I feel like I'm living in FigJam these days because I love it. So easy. All right, so I made my slides in a Jamboard, in a about Jamboard in a Canva presentation, although I didn't use it as a presentation. So I'm going to see what happens when I try to share the link.
Do you want to switch your screen, Alice, and try it?
Yeah. So to be honest, I use Google Slides when I do presentations. I just make my backgrounds in Canva. So like, okay, how do I, if I just copy the link to this, what happens? I'm going to bring this over here and I'm just going to paste it and see what happens. Okay, now this is, I think, to the edit file page because I didn't get the link to the actual presentation. How do I get the link to the presentation? Public view link. So I'm going to copy that. So let's see what happens when I drop that into FigJam. Just going to find out together.
Try Canva Slides. It works great for Google Slides, but
it does work great for Google Slides. Okay, so it's just going to give me a link back to the Canva. So it will open up in a new tab.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So now we know the answer to that, but that is yet. As of today, that's true, but who knows about tomorrow? Someone's probably working on that right now, or they are going to be.
Perfect. And then I see another question. Maybe one more question here, because this is an important one. I'm just going to drag this one down. They say, let's see. Are there ways from admin to limit certain widgets like in-app purchase ones? So I would say, number one, there is no way for your students to purchase widgets with the school accounts. So that's not really a concern. But if you are concerned about, hey, I don't want the Bitmoji widget, I don't want the Unsplash widget, I don't want the Wheel of Names widget for some reason, yes, your admin can limit which widgets are in there. So they could turn off all widgets. They could allow 5 widgets. They could allow them all. That's kind of a conversation that you and your admin can have.
Okay, so just to be clear, and I'm going to add a large text box here, to get their schools set up like officially so that it provisions the students, it's good for children under the age of 13, they should email education@figma.com, right?
Yep, that's probably the easiest way if you just want to directly connect with me. Yeah, so that's if you want to do a school level deployment. So that's integrated with Google, super, super easy. Just email us there, education@figma.com. And I also saw some things in the chat about like, oh, is it only for 1 year? I think Brinsley, you might have been reading when we launched the Jamboard importer yesterday, we made a special offer for business customers that were moving from Jamboard to FigJam. So like, startups or other companies, that was in reference to the companies. So for EDU, there is no limits. It is totally free. You're not going to get kicked off after a year or anything like that. So just wanted to be super clear about that.
Okay. All right. Last questions. How do you open your FigJam again? Okay, so Carla, you're in my FigJam. To get to your FigJam, so you just go to figma.com. So when I go to figma.com, it's going to show me all of my FigJams. I did set up a team so that I can have a folder. It is really important that you organize them into folders. There we go. So I can just find all of my stuff here at figma.com, which is also where the import button is to import your Jamboards into FigJam.
Yep. So all you need to remember is go to figma.com, click import, select your jams, and that's it. So just those 3 steps.
Yep. And so Carla, I'm not sure if that was your question because you said you're in, but you're stuck on the resource page. So I do have a resource page. So if you go to figma.com/@AliceKeeler, this is where I've been converting my jams that I've been sharing. And now they are Figmas that I am, FigJams that I am sharing, Figma FigJams that I am sharing.
Yeah, and those are great because you can get a copy of Alice's files. We also, my team has created a ton of free templates. So if you want to get like a discussion diamond or a pros cons activity, you can easily download all of those.
Right, figma.com/@education.
You got it. You got it.
I've got them all memorized now.
Yeah.
So there's just like a ton of resources that are already pre-built in here. I do have a blog post that I did the other day where I picked out a few favorite
nice.
templates from there. So I will go ahead and paste that. So I'll paste that here into the chat. There we go.
Yeah, I just see a last question here from Erica. Erica asks, what date do you have to convert by? So that's a really good question, Erica. So Jamboard is going to go view only on October 1st, 2024. So you need to convert them before October 1st. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you $1 they might extend it a little bit, but I wouldn't bet on it, even though that's literally what I just said.
We'll just have to see. It's
not worth gambling over. They're getting rid of it. Let's move on. This is better. It has so many great features to it. It does everything that Jamboard did, but more. So Emily wants to know, could you please click on one of your videos or slides so we can see if it plays for the participants? Sure.
I can answer this question. So when you have a video on here, it's only the person who's clicking on it sees it. So if you pasted a video, it's not that your student could press play and then suddenly everyone's seeing it. It only plays for your screen. Same thing with slides. So you'd want to share your screen if you wanted to show them the slide, but otherwise it's one-to-one for that person to open the slide and they see it, to open the YouTube and they see it. So that way they're not disrupting the whole class by like playing the video when they're not supposed to, and then it ruins everyone's screen, if that makes sense.
And I think Laura's comment might be that this is actually being streamed to a bunch of different platforms. So somebody on YouTube, their chat's not going to show up on the LinkedIn chat. So if you're not seeing everybody's chat comments like we're seeing, it could just be because you're on 2 different platforms. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, Laura, but I'm really excited for all of you who joined in from LinkedIn, from YouTube, from Facebook, from Twix, or whatever we're going to call it. Joining us tonight.
All the platforms going. But thank you so much for having me on, Alice. And anyone who has any questions, again, it's just education@figma.com. We're here to help you. We understand, losing Jamboard is a huge bummer, but we want to be as helpful as possible to make the transition easier for you. So just hit me up anytime, education@figma.com, and I can help.
Good. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving. And
Thanks all. Happy Thanksgiving.
bye.
Gobble, gobble. All right. Bye.